This is TWiT.
Not surprisingly, I think you brought it to our attention a couple of weeks ago because the news was just breaking as we were going to the air. The Crypto AG organization, which was a Swiss-based supplier of cryptographic technology, had been just at that time discovered to have been owned by the U.S. CIA and the equivalent German organization.
Just a little
and it's
thing.
like,
Just a little thing.
Oh my goodness. So it's predictably blown up with apparently well-founded allegations that U.S. and German intelligence deliberately implemented backdoors in Crypto AG's systems for the purpose of eavesdropping on governments worldwide, governments being the customers of Crypto AG. Switzerland has filed a complaint. The project was known as Operation Rubicon, and as a result of this investigation by the Washington Post, ZDF, which is a German public service television broadcaster, and SRF News, which is a Swiss radio station, those are the three entities that pulled their resources and discovered what had been going on with this Swiss company, Crypto AG. The report that has been filed says that governments were paying, quote, good money to the U.S. and West Germany for the privilege of having their most secret communications read by at least 2 and possibly as many as 5 or 6 foreign countries. This further suggests that communication records may have been shared between the Five Eyes members that we've spoken of. That's the U.S., the U.K., Canada, Australia, and New Zealand. So though that 5 plus Germany, since Germany was also a party to ownership of Crypto AG. Being a Swiss company, Crypto AG covert operations, the fact of this has shaken Switzerland due to its long-term standing as a neutral company in political matters, a reputation that it has defended, avidly for years. In 2018, Crypto AG split into 2 companies, Psi1 AG, CYONE, Psi1 AG, which serves the local Swiss market, and Crypto International AG. After the investigation was published, the Swiss Ministry of Economic Affairs prohibited exports of Crypto AG products, basically shutting it down. Psi1 AG, that only works within Switzerland, has maintained that it is independent of its now ill-reputed international counterpart. The Swiss government has appointed a former Supreme Court judge to investigate the matter. His report is expected this summer in June. The Swiss Attorney General's office said on Sunday that the criminal complaint recorded against, quote, persons unknown, unquote, has been formally filed by the State Secretariat for Economic Affairs, which is SECO in Switzerland. Reuters reported that the Swiss Attorney General's office will review the complaint and ultimately decide whether or not to open a criminal investigation. The investigation may be focused upon determining who within the company knew about the surveillance practices in the hopes of mitigating damage caused by Switzerland's neutral position. They're going to say, hey, this wasn't the whole company, this wasn't everybody, it was just a select few people who had knowledge of this. It's interesting too because there has been rumor for quite a while that there was a way for the U.S. and Germany. There's just sort of been in the air. The never confirmed, no clear facts to back it up, but just sort of some occasional rumors that maybe this crypto wasn't as strong as was believed. And of course, unfortunately, when the report comes out with details that back up what has sort of been believed, but nobody was quite sure about it, then that puts that issue to rest. So anyway, it'll be interesting to see how this goes. And I don't know what, who will step in to fill the vacuum. Maybe, again, this company has been around for decades, so it's probably just been inertia, which has allowed it to continue long after there were alternative good sources of crypto. They acquired, being Swiss, they had a reputation for honesty and integrity, which unfortunately does not look like it was deserved. There is a web server technology that has been around for a long time, 22 years, in fact. Tomcat is an open source implementation. Tomcat runs under Apache, the Apache server. It's an open source implementation of the Java servlet, Java server pages, Java expression language, and Java WebSocket technologies. So it provides a pure Java HTTP web server environment for hosting Java-based web applications. It is very popular, especially in the enterprise, where Java is often the chosen implementation language. It started off 22 years ago in 1998 as a reference implementation of a Java servlet, which was created by James Duncan Davidson, who was a software architect at the time at Sun Microsystems. Since then, it has been evolving steadily across a series of minor and major releases. It is a real deal. To give our listeners a sense for its penetration, Shodan lists more than 890,000 Tomcat servers currently reachable over the internet. 890,000. And the similar binary edge service has located more than 1 million. So right now, there are more than 1 million Tomcat servers vulnerable to a newly discovered problem, an exploit known as GhostCat. GhostCat is a high-risk file read and include vulnerability being tracked as CVE 2020-1938. It's present in all the Apache JServe protocol, that's AJP, of Apache Tomcat between versions 6.x and 9.x, which is all versions of Apache's Tomcat server released during the past 13 years. So 13 years, 1 million plus servers. And this AJP protocol is exposed publicly by default when Tomcat is brought up. It is a critical flaw that can lead to a server takeover. The Tomcat developers, who are doubtless embarrassed by this discovery, in a somewhat vain attempt to put the best possible face on this disaster, wrote, quote, Tomcat treats AJP connections as having higher trust than, for example, a similar HTTP connection. If such connections are available to an attacker, they can be exploited in ways that may be surprising. Yeah, surprising to the people whose servers are taken over remotely by hackers on the internet. Researchers at the Chinese security firm Chaitin Tech, who discovered the bug, explained that after successfully exploiting an unpatched Tomcat server, which again, any Tomcat server using Tomcat in the last 13 years, they said, quote, an attacker can read the contents of configuration files and source code files of all web apps deployed on Tomcat. In addition, if the website app allows users to upload files So, okay, that's good. So it's maybe not all. But many sites provide some reason for allowing uploads. An attacker can first upload a file containing malicious JSP script code to the server. They said the uploaded file itself can be any type of file, such as pictures, plain text, etc. In other words, it could be a JPEG, it could be any kind of a Java-based web app that accepts customer-based posts, which, for example, a social media platform that allows you to upload your own avatar for the account that you create, for example. It doesn't have to. It can be masquerading as a JPEG, and then this thing is then able to, as soon as you get the code onto the server, that is, you get a file onto the server, the exploit allows that to be treated as JavaScript or JSP script code, which allows it then to be exploited using the Ghost Cat vulnerability, turning it into a remote code execution vulnerability. According to SNCC and Red Hat, Tomcat also ships with apps built using the Spring Boot Java framework, as well as other Java-based servers and frameworks, including but not limited to the JBoss Web Server, JWS, and JBoss Enterprise Application Platform, EAP. And not surprisingly, given the power of this exploit, coupled with the fact that the enterprise targets lying behind these Java-based servers are likely quite attractive. And I have a link here because I was curious who's using this. There is a CWiki at .apache.org for the Tomcat Apache add-on. They have a powered by where they're bragging about which organizations are powered by Tomcat. And it's a little hair-raising because there are many significant organizations that number themselves among Tomcat users.
It used to be a big deal. I'm surprised this many people still use it. I felt like that.
Inertia, Leo. Inertia.
Once it's working. Once Bergen Jersey foreclosures is working, you don't want to change it. Powered for Tom by Tomcat for years. It says.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Also, there was a stock trading company
E-Trade.
that had
says E-Trade.
E-Trade.
Yeah.
I know E-Trade is there. It's like whoopsie.
But it may be. I should just click this because it may be they used to. Well, it doesn't bring it to the article. Maybe they used to use it. Oops.
So, and the threat is not just theoretical. The cyber threat intelligence firm Bad Packets tweeted on Saturday, mass scanning activity targeting this vulnerability has begun. Patch now. So, if any of our listeners have their organizations using Tomcat on Apache, yeah, certainly you're using something from the last 13 years. Update yourself. All the versions, the latest 6.x, 7.x, or maybe it's 7.x, 8.x, and 9.x. 6.x is no longer in service, so it's 7.anything, 8.anything, and 9.anything, and they have updates for all three branches. So whichever one you're using, definitely update.